Hello and welcome back. This is Time in the UK. New delivery. Can you see what it is yet? So as we all do, I was mooching through eBay the other night and I came across an advertised listing for a Seiko, and it was price reduced. It was discounted by quite a lot, and it is this. It is the new version of the Seiko SKX. It's a Seiko 5. I'll give you the product code in a minute, but it's the updated and refreshed version of the SKX from yesteryear. As some of you may or may not know, Seiko phased out the famous SKX a year or so ago and brought out a whole new range of SKX and Seiko 5 watches. The price point shot up and they became more expensive, and the specs to some extent decreased slightly. The main change was the crown is no longer screwed down, whereas in the SKX it was a proper diver's watch, so the crown would screw down. This, I'm afraid, no longer does that, so the water resistance is less than the old model. However, quality wise, not much else has changed. The bracelets are still the same bracelets that the old SKX range had, with the pressed clasp. There you go. And we'll have to unpack that and have a look at that a bit closer. It's not too bad for plastic on this particular watch. Sometimes some watches, they're just absolutely wrapped in plastic. And as you can see, the clasp is pressed and the extension is pressed. The watch itself does not feature a diver's extension. It just features a few micro adjustment slots, and the watch strap has push pins. So here as a comparison is the old version with its screw down crown. I'm just going to set the time to the same time as the other watch. The dates and days aren't properly set, but to be honest, I wear my watches in rotation, so that's normally the case. With the date function on most of my watches, it's normally showing the wrong day. So long as the time's right, I'm happy. So that screws down with a little bit of effort, and that's the watch now sealed for its water rated pressure. Side by side, the orange watch looks to be slightly different in size. So let's give it a quick measure. So case width, we've got 40.7 and 40.7, and yep, 31.7 for the crystal size, 31.7 again, and to measure the depth, it's actually 13.5, although you can't see it in the picture. So there you go, identical in size. The only other minor feature of note, apart from the differences in the colourways and the addition of a steel strap on one model, is that the new Seiko 5 model has little drilled holes in the end of the lugs to allow you for ease of strap change. That's a nice retro touch. Also, it's got a display case back. Yeah, so three differences then. The strap remains identical to the older strap for the SKX, albeit the SKX did quite often come with a Jubilee version of this strap. Let's have a look at the Lume, and there's absolutely no difference whatsoever between the old and new Seikos, and if anything, the new Seiko 5 is just a hair brighter and a hair fresher. It's hard to tell really with the camera equipment that I've got, but it's just simply brilliant, passed with flying colours. And if we move on to a dim location with a bit of light within the property, you'll see that the Lume still glows even with a little bit of light. You can see the Lume a little bit, and it does add an extra dimension to the watch. The bezel action is nice. It's a 120 click bezel, and the actual action feels firm and positive with zero backlash. It's something that a lot of other watch manufacturers can take on board. I can tell you that there's much more expensive watches that I've tried out, and the bezel action is nowhere near as good as that. The bezel lines up nicely. The rehaut may be slightly out, but it's only a tiny bit, and generally speaking, with the naked eye, you can't see any misalignment at all. But I really am enjoying the colour. I think the colour is a really nice autumnal sort of colour, and you can see here modelled against some autumn leaves. The gold on the bezel, the yellow perhaps on the bezel, and the orange on the dial face really look nice together. So I'm very pleased. I think it's the colour combinations work fantastically, and it's the kind of colour of a watch that I've always really liked. I think it reminds me a little bit of a Doxa perhaps, but there's the case back again. So yeah, very pleased with this Seiko 5. So let's see what it looks like after it's resized. But before we resize it, let's just quickly weigh it and see how heavy it is. 169 grams. It's pretty standard. Right, let's quickly resize it, and because it's a push pin bracelet, I've speeded it up because it's a very simple procedure of just swapping the pins out and removing a link. In my case, I removed the link from either side of the clasp. To level it out, I removed 2 links, and it left me with a nice fit like this. Not too tight on the wrist. I don't like a watch that's too tight, and especially the Seikos, I think they do benefit from being worn a little bit loose. Again, the bezel colours in this light, it looks a little bit more goldy, but perhaps it's orange. But actually, when you look at it in the real light, it's got a metallic gold coating on it, on the markers on the bezel. So that's it. That's my first impressions of the Seiko 5. I'll do a quick Lume shot, and I'll leave you with a Lume shot and a few other pictures. So please give us a like, comment and subscribe, and come back for more content. You've been watching Time in the UK. See you again soon. Bye.